Good morning, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Preston and Mike Show. Unfortunately, Preston and JP will be absent today. Preston, due to a run-in with the law concerning his possession of whippets, and JP was just indicted on federal treason charges. But instead of the two of them, we have something much, much better. We have Mark Shallenberger, our very special NFL correspondent, with us today. He's going to introduce himself.
I'm excited to be here. My name is Mark Shallenberger. It's a mouthful. I go to high school. These are my friends, and I'm a big fan. I have watched every single episode of the Preston and Mike Show, which is 2, and I'll be listening to myself, hoping this goes well. Unlike them, I do know where I'm going to college. I'm going to the University of Evansville. I'm going to play baseball there. You got D1 athlete on the squad now. Hopefully John Paul can go somewhere. We haven't figured that out yet.
Big news from John Paul's front. He was just offered an offer to play football at Rhodes College down in Memphis today. So mad respect to him and shout out to the Lynx down there. Hopefully he can join the team. We are going to do a little segment with Jay here covering our Capital One Bowl Mania picks. Jay has assumed his natural position in last place finally, picking only 67% of bowl games correctly, whereas I, Mike, am in first, picking 97.4% of my bowl games correctly. What do you have to say about that, Jay?
It's sad, but I would like to say that Boston College took a dub.
They
over
did not.
Boise
They
State.
did not win the game. The game was
canceled. They were up when it was canceled, so I think we have to give that one to Boston College.
That's just really overtly not how it works.
See, everyone. I'm going to interject here. Everyone talks about wins and losses, but the reality is, did they cover the spread? I'm a big spread guy. Most of my analysis will end with whether the team will cover the spread or not. So did Boston College cover the spread against Pittsburgh?
Against Boise State? They did. I don't know why. Pittsburgh's playing Stanford, but I don't think they did because the game never ended.
Yeah, the game was canceled.
The game was canceled during the first, while Boston College was up by a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
that is a loss for you. And you know what else is a loss for you? Everything about you. I despise you. All right. We're going to do a little segment, as this is our Christmas and holiday special. We're going to talk a little bit about our holiday plans, and we hope if you're at a New Year's function over New Year's and you get the aux cord, just plug it in, play the Preston and Mike Show. You'll be the coolest guy at the party. I know that. So, Jay, how was your Christmas? How'd it go?
It's a pretty good Christmas. Got to be in town this year. Usually I go out down to Florida, but this year I got to stay at home. Got a lot of good presents. Probably my favorite presents. Got some good Georgetown gear. We headed there next fall, so
big man, yay!
Got some good gift cards for some Sonic and Chick-fil-A, but I think the gift card I'm gonna appreciate the most is a $25 gift card to Outback Steakhouse for the Preston and Mike Show. One of our very great sponsors, Jim Butler Chevrolet, handed it to us. Hats off to them for that. Paying for a trip for Preston and Mike Show to go down and try the Bloomin' Onion.
We are.
Shrimp.
And thank you to Jim Butler Chevrolet. You sell the best Chevys in the St. Louis metropolitan area. I wouldn't buy a Chevy anywhere else. I would not.
I agree. So we'll be headed down there next episode. We'll let you guys know how which one was better, the Bloomin' Onion or coconut shrimp.
The Bloomin' Onion is better. Mark, how was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. I think probably my number one gift would be the Miles Michaelis jersey I'm wearing right now. It was a fun fact. If you want a Miles Michaelis jersey, you cannot go to MLB.com or the Cardinals website. They don't have them. My dad had this Santa had this custom made for me, and it's wonderful. It's very soft. You don't even need an undershirt. It's incredible. I got other gifts, but this one almost made me cry. Oh, and I also, huge Browns fan here. I got a Joe Thomas jersey, and my dad got Santa got a captain patch for it, and I'm going to have the captain patch sewed on. And Joe Thomas would be quite proud of that. And I got other good things. I had a Sugar Fire gift card, which was amazing.
Big St. Louis joint there. If you're listening out of town, Sugar Fire is probably the best barbecue place locally in St. Louis. Yeah. Anyway, my Christmas was wonderful. I got between 30 and 40 pairs of socks, all plain black. I needed socks, so it's a practical gift. But moving right along, Mark is going to talk a little bit about the NFL playoff picture and the games in the upcoming week. So I'll kick it over to you, Mark.
All right. So to start, I I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to start with the AFC. I'm going to go top seeds down to the bottom seeds. This is a college football podcast, so I'll just kind of explain the layout a little bit. There are for each league, there will be 6 teams that make the playoffs. And the top 2 teams get a first round bye, and the next 4 teams they play each other. The 6 seed plays the 3 seed, and the 4 seed plays the 5 seed. And the winner of those 2 games end up go play the 2s and the 1s. The 5 seed and the 6 seed, they are wild card teams, and the top 4 teams are the division champions. We'll start with the AFC, as I said, since it's more up for grabs, and I put my best work into the AFC. As a Browns fan, it's far more relevant to me. With the first seed, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, who will be facing the Oakland Raiders in Kansas City. It's a little obvious, but the Chiefs will win. Not necessarily because they have to, although it's a game that they should go after. But I don't think it would be possible to lose to John Gruden and the Raiders if they wanted to. Oakland doesn't have the manpower to stop Nick Mullins, quarterback for the 49ers. So I don't believe that he'll be able to stop Pat Mahomes, who I believe is the best football player in the NFL.
The best?
The best.
Right now.
Yes, he does things that I don't think Derek Jeter could do with a ball. He is that good. Have you seen some of the throws?
I've seen it. I don't know if he's proven. I mean, maybe he's playing the best football right now, if that's what you mean. But I don't know if you can say, oh, he's the best football player right now.
I think he's shown enough where if he can continue this path.
Well, that's a big if. That's a huge if. If Johnny Manziel could have done what he did in college in the NFL, then he would be the best quarterback.
But that's a huge talent. That's a huge talent disproportion there. He had he had a year behind Alex Smith, and then he comes in, and the Chiefs' offensive line is bottom tier in the NFL. He doesn't need them because he runs, he rolls out, and he throws bombs. He does everything you want with a quarterback and more. And I think his success this season will change the way that scouts look at quarterbacks.
I have qualms about this commentary. Serious qualms. I mean, what about Aaron Rodgers?
I believe Pat Mahomes right now and in the future will have a better career than Aaron Rodgers.
I know you're a Tom Brady guy. What about Tom Brady?
I'm a big Tom Brady guy. I think are you going to roll out the system quarterback here?
I not in this instance.
Okay.
We don't need to go into that.
The Patriots right now are the 2 seed, so we can come back to that in a sec.
Okay.
But let's go back to Nick Mullins, because Nick Mullins throws the ball similar to Chase Daniel. He looks like a punter when he tries to throw deep balls. It's good TV because it looks like he's throwing fair catches. It's wonderful. But back to Oakland, they will not stop Pat Mahomes. He has 48 touchdowns. They're averaging 35.5 points a game. They will plow Oakland. Although I think they will score a ton of points, but their defense is also not good. And for the gambling fans out there, I would put my money on the Raiders with the spread being 14 points. The Chiefs are a very good football team, but they're 0-5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games. And they have a bad defense, and it has hurt their time of possession. And I think with garbage time coming into play, I expect the Raiders to cover, but they will lose the game ultimately.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees with you on that one.
Nope. Unless Derek Carr pulls some 2016 Jack Del Rio era Raiders out of them, which he will not. They will lose, and they go 4-12, and they will get a better pick, which is what they should be going.
And hopefully fire Gruden.
Another hot take coming over.
Really hot take. I mean, I'm a college football guy. I don't really follow the NFL. But I've seen what the Raiders have been doing this year. I don't like it.
First of all, Gruden, his entire career when he was with the Buccaneers and when he was with the Raiders the first time, he's one of those old football guys where he wants his guys. He went in, he had a new situation with Jack Del Rio leaving, and he had a team that he thought he wanted. He got a 10-year contract worth $100 million.
Really? Man,
it's insane. So what he's doing is he's doing something that
he's a long game.
Yeah, he's a long game.
I can see that.
He traded Amari Cooper for a first-round pick.
Yeah, because I was very confused by the nature of the trades that were happening. He gave away a lot of pieces.
Yeah, they're not the trades that like a Vance Joseph or a Greg Williams can make. Those are 2 other NFL coaches, by the way. College Football Podcast. I won't assume you know anything. I will try to say as much as possible.
That's very fair.
So you can fill them in. So But Vance Joseph is going to get fired because he needed to win now. These guys all have short-term contracts. John Gruden has a 10-year contract. He can do whatever he wants. And Al Davis is a big name. Rip Al Davis. Mark Davis is a big name guy. They're moving the team. Everything's changing. And John Gruden is going to be what carries them over the edge with patience. So, little aside there.
Yeah.
So the second seeded team is the New England Patriots. They will be playing the Jets at home in Foxborough, and they will win. But I do want Sam Darnold to win this game, even if I have to listen to Colin Cowherd just shower him with praise for an entire offseason. But that being said, rookie quarterbacks don't win in Foxborough. Normal quarterbacks don't win in Foxborough. Pat Mahomes, best player in the NFL, didn't win Foxborough. The Patriots are the only NFL team that's 7-0 at home this season. They're the only undefeated team in Foxborough. Although I do believe Baker Mayfield will beat them in there, but that's for another day.
The Browns?
But I do believe
take the Patriots. That is the hottest to take.
It is.
That is smoking hot off the presses there.
There's no evidence to back up this claim except gut feeling that Baker can beat anyone on any day. So the Patriots have a first round bye on the line, since they are 10-5.
Yes.
As are the Texans, who are also 10-5. And if the Patriots win and the Texans win, then both teams will be 11-5. And the Patriots in Week 1 won the tiebreaker, so they will have the first round bye. So they just need to win. But if they lose and the Texans win, then they have to play in the wild card round, and there's a chance they play the Chargers, and none of that would be good for them. Since I believe the Chargers are a better team than they are.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't see what there's some statistic they lose the majority of the time with Belichick when they don't have the first round bye.
Is that
the Patriots? Yeah, that's real. I don't know the exact number, but they don't do well when they actually have to play. So there's my take.
An interesting thing I did read is that when I originally heard about the whole everyone clamoring to get that number 1 seed, I was like, is it really that big a deal to get the number 1 seed? Because you hear that common phrase like the road to the Super Bowl will go through New Orleans or will go through Kansas City. And then I believe it was Bleacher Report. They have good work there. Go there after listening to the Preston and Mike Show. I believe the last 5 Super Bowl winners have been number 1 seeds. So it is a much bigger deal than I think the common fan anticipates, and I believe that most NFL coaches think of it the same way. Because I would contend that home field advantage in the NFL could be an even bigger deal than it is in college, but that could be just me. I'm not a big college football guy here. What's your opinion on home field advantage?
Home field advantage is very important in college because I prefer college football partially because of the atmosphere compared to the NFL. I mean, the fans they love it. They're so intense, so they're always all in the games.
Yeah. So give me a sec here. There's a 13.5 point spread in the Patriots-Jets game, and I think the Jets cover again. Since last week, you saw Sony Michel running the ball 25-plus times. Belichick and McDaniels, they're going to continue to run him into the ground, and that'll give Darnold and the Jets, similar to Derek Carr in Kansas City, it'll give them the chance to cut into that spread. And since Darnold in the last 3 weeks has posted the highest QBR in the NFL, which he's been throwing to glorified kick returners and felons the entire season, and he worked through injuries at the beginning of the season. He sat out, and then Josh McCown did his thing and threw picks. Former Browns great Josh McCown. But now with Darnold back and healthy, he's mobile. He's hitting guys in stride. He's doing things that warranted in the eyes of many people him being a number 1 overall pick. But I still believe that the Patriots will win. They won't cover the spread. They've had trouble with that this season, and they'll get their first round bye. So the 3 seed is the Houston Texans. They're 10-5. I mentioned them a little bit earlier. They'll be facing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Houston. So that's a home one for them. Earlier today or yesterday, I don't know when this will come out, Doug Marrone said that Blake Bortles will be the starter again. I wish John Paul were here to hear those news because he's a big Blake Bortles guy. But when you have to pick between Cody Kessler and Blake Bortles, two not equally but two terrible quarterbacks, there are backups. I would contend there are 5 or 6 backups in the NFL that would do better for either of them. But it's a daunting task to face Blake Bortles. He runs around a lot, and it can happen when you got the boat on your team. He's got Blake Bortles facts on his side. So with a win, which they will win, the Texans will move to 11-5. They will clinch the AFC South, and they'll get a 3 seed at the very least. And if the Patriots lose, they'll get the 2 seed.
Little interjection there. I think the Jags should lose. Like, they should make the conscious decision going into that Houston game and say, we need to lose this game because we need draft picks. We're not doing anything this year. Yeah. So that's my little mini take.
The two players that Blake Bortles was drafted ahead of, Khalil Mack and Odell Beckham Jr.
Oof.
Yes. It's a big sad there all around. So now that the semantics of what they have to do is out of the way, I believe that since Blake Bortles is starting, you need to take the under in that game at 40.5 points. And the same will go with Deshaun Watson. The Jaguars are known for rushing the passer. There's injuries to their line. They've gotten increasingly worse the whole year. Demaryius Thomas is now on IR, as is Will Fuller. They only have DeAndre Hopkins. Another aside here, DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver in the NFL. And Watson, other than that, he'll literally be throwing to practice squad receivers against a pretty good Jaguars secondary. So since with all these things in mind, it could be a pretty bad game from a viewer's perspective. But anything can happen with Blake Bortles at the helm and with Deshaun Watson having a deteriorated supporting cast. So I'm gonna have to take the Texans with the 6.5 point spread, but much more reluctantly than the past 2 games, than the 2 aforementioned games. So next we got the Ravens, who are the 4th seed in the AFC. They'll be hosting the Browns at M&T Bank Stadium in Week 17. The Ravens need this game. If they win, they control their own destiny. If they win, they'll end at 10-6 and they'll clinch the AFC North. And the Steelers are big Browns fans this week.
I'm a Pittsburgh fan since way back. I think me and the entirety of the city of Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania, our hearts are in Cleveland. They're with Browns fans like Mark. You guys have struggled. We've punished you guys a lot over the years. But I really want the Ravens to lose. I hate the Ravens. I've always hated the Ravens. I'd be really sad. And you know what? Here's what's what's got me fired up this week. What I am fired up this week about is Mike Tomlin. He is such a terrible coach. I don't know. He has all the pieces. Would you agree with me? Pittsburgh has all the pieces to be an 11-12 win team this year. They could win the Super Bowl. They have that much talent. But they can't win. And there's no excuses. He's always had an excuse. Oh, my line's terrible. They're always hurt. Oh, I literally don't have a defense. But he hasn't done anything. He's just not a good coach. If you saw that against New Orleans last week, they decided to go for a fake punt. Why? You just punt it. Give them.
Sometimes you roll the dice.
He's such a bad coach. He only has one Super Bowl.
Only has one Super Bowl. If you picked any coach, let's say Eric Mangini got the Browns one Super Bowl, I would have a statue of Eric Mangini in my room. I would have a picture taped to the top of my bed of Eric Mangini. Because a lot of teams, they've never won a Super Bowl before, and Mike Tom was in the playoffs every single year.
Not this year, probably. Unless the Browns pull it off. Fingers crossed.
Whatever happens, it's a winning record, and the expectations are as high as you, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, have set them.
No,
you've set them that high because of the continued success of Mike Tomlin.
The continued success of the Steelers program. They have the most Super Bowl wins in the NFL, in the history of the NFL. So they should continue their greatness. And if you have a coach who is not facilitating that greatness, he's got to go. For me, this is his last year. This is his last year. When you have that much talent and you can't even get to the playoffs, maybe, there's a problem. There's a problem with your coaching. It's nothing else.
Well, I feel like you put together a good argument. It's coherent. I'll give you that. But continued winning seasons over and over again, you can't fire a guy who posts 9, 10, 11, 12 win seasons on a regular basis. Now, if they were 5-11 this year and all that locker room chaos talk continued to facilitate through the media, which I don't believe it. I think it's hoopla.
No,
but it's
what? It is an incredibly toxic locker room. That's another reason I don't think Tomlin has had the success he should have this year, is because the locker room is turned against him. They're not on his side anymore. At all.
I think the media pushed the Le'Veon Bell thing, and then there was some controversy with AB. I don't have material prepared for it because I wasn't ready for this violent of a tangent. But I'm willing to talk about it. That's what we're here for. But I just, it's in my head. I feel like they came back really strong and won, I believe, 4 or 5 games in a row, and they were at 7-3 at one point, and they faltered again when they faced tougher competition. But I don't think that's something you can place on Mike Tomlin. He was kind of given a bad situation here with the whole Le'Veon Bell controversy, and he responded with another good running back. They just keep.
I don't know how they do that. I have no idea.
D'Angelo Williams.
Bell's gone. They get a new guy.
Running back.
You get James Conner, another good running back.
You get Jalen Samuels, who, by his own account, said he'd never rushed for 100 yards in his life, not even in high school, because he is also a tight end. In Yahoo Fantasy Football, Jalen Samuels is considered a tight end, and he was the Steelers' starting running back, and he did well. So he's a good coach, and he's not going anywhere. If he does, any team would be lucky.
No, yeah, all that being said about Mike Tomlin, he is a genuinely good guy. The people of Pittsburgh love him, and I would love to hang out with Mike Tomlin. My problem is, good guy, smart guy. But the problem is he's not winning. He's not winning the games he should be winning.
But he is winning.
He's not winning the games he should win. The Chargers game, they're up 13-0, and they fall apart and lose. The Saints game, they should have won that game.
But they should have. The NFL, it's a 50 game.
I can't deal with that. I can't deal with loss. I
respect that. I respect that nobody has resolved anything in this back and forth here. So back to the Ravens. They are the 4th seed in the AFC. The Baker is playing against them. He will need to be very good because going into Baltimore is tough. They've allowed the least amount of points in the NFL. They have the second least amount of yards allowed. They're good in every facet of the game. They got Terrell Suggs, Timmy Jernigan, Tommy Judah in their front 7. They have, I can't name them by name, but their secondary is incredible. And with Lamar Jackson as their starting quarterback, it's made their defense even better because they are number 1 in the NFL in rush yards per game since Lamar took over. 219 rush yards per game. That is pre-forward pass level stuff. That is Navy at their prime.
Yeah, that is Army right now.
Yeah.
Army and Houston.
That was Army's quarterback who had 7 touchdowns?
Yeah, something
insane like that. But the thing is one, that's consistent that's consistent production. There's a lot of inconsistency in the pass game, especially with a Joe Flacco at the helm. But with Lamar, one, you dominate time of possession, and that makes every defense better, regardless of how good they are. And so for the Browns defense, they need to stop the run. If they don't stop the run and Lamar can read option them into submission, the Baker as a young quarterback, he won't, if he's forced to make deep throws with not a lot of time, like literally in the pocket and on the game clock, it'll be a problem, and they won't be able to cover with it. Although I will say Greg Williams blitzes more than he's the Browns defensive coordinator, by the way. He blitzes more than every other. He loads the box more than every other defensive coordinator I know of, and that should help him. That's a good fit against a team that's going to run the ball 40 times.
Do you think that'll be enough?
I sure hope so. I hope the Browns get their first winning record since 2007, but a man can only hope every year. I do believe that the spread is Vegas is giving the Ravens or it's giving the Browns 6.5 points. I don't think the Ravens will win by a touchdown. Although the over under is 41, and I think that's pretty lofty, especially in winter weather in Baltimore and all that's going in. And the Browns have gone under in 5 consecutive games, and in December in the last 2 years, 18 of their last 22 games have gone under. They're a big under team. Although you might attribute that to a little bit of Deshaun Kaiser and Kevin Hogan and the plethora of backup quarterbacks that I could mention here for being poor in December, because that's tank season for Browns normally. But that being said, I think they'll go under. I do think that they'll cover, but we'll see how that goes on Sunday. I will be watching, and you should be too. We have the 5th seeded Chargers. They are 11-4 as the 5th seed. it's not cool for them because that's how what's the word? That's how the playoff picture works. Because as a wild card team, but they have a big week ahead of them. They need to win this week because if they win this week, I was talking about their weird spot a little bit earlier. If they win and the Chiefs lose, if Derek Carr pulls something out of his thing, then they'll put the nervous laughter. I'm sorry, Mr. Boston. Then I'll put the Chargers at 12-4 and the Chiefs 11-5, which will bring the Chargers back from having the road to the Super Bowl go through Kansas City. Then it'll go through Los Angeles, and then the Chiefs will have to face a 4 seed who could be the Ravens, and that could be a tough matchup for them. So, anywho, the Chargers need to win. Everybody needs to win, but if the Chargers get to 12-4, then they can hope for a miracle, and hopefully they won't have to play the Ravens. I think anyone who plays I'm starting to ramble here, by the way. I think anyone who plays the Ravens in the playoffs, that'll be a trap game because that defense in that unconventional style of play. That's something you see in college a lot.
That's why I love college football.
You get weird fits, and I think it's a little refreshing because I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm a little bit of a tangent here, but the way that the NFL is shaping out is you need a quarterback, you need a guy who can bomb a ball, you can throw a ball 50 yards down the field on any given play, and that's something you need on your team. And then the Ravens get Lamar Jackson, they fit an offense around him, and they couple that with a good defense, and it's refreshing to see that work because it's not only like someone trying it, like the Browns tried a little bit of running action with Tyrod Taylor early in the year, and it didn't work. But coupled with their good defense, it's good to see. It's good to see a new style emerge and be a playoff team.
The only problem with that is if you saw the 49ers a couple years ago with Colin Kaepernick, you kind of had that kind of thing going on, and it worked for a year, and it worked really, really well.
It did. That is.
And then it totally fell off. And what's he doing now? Yeah, he's doing the Nike ads and stuff. But beyond that, I don't know if he's playing football.
Yeah. Although I believe he needs to be on the team, but that is
sure. I think he's a decent quarterback. But the thing is that that's a different debate. Huge tangent.
I don't want to roll down that road.
Yeah, NFL defenses figure out new styles. So maybe the fact that they have the bombers at QB like that, that's because it's what works.
I do believe that Lamar has impressed with his throwing prowess this year. Last week he had a 68-yard touchdown to Mark Andrews. That was an absolute dime that I didn't know he could make that throw, and he made that throw. And I think if he continues to put things like that on the film, that they'll have to respect that, which is something they didn't really have to do with Colin Kaepernick because he was woefully inaccurate his whole career.
That is very true.
And I believe that if he can make the passes, then he can have success as an NFL quarterback with that style.
That's true. So
the Chargers, they are playing the Denver Broncos.
Right.
And last time they met, actually, the Broncos did win 23-22, but that was very fluky. Philip Rivers threw 2 bad picks in that second half, and their play calling was bad. They got very complacent with the lead, and the Broncos made I believe they were down 2 possessions with like 5 minutes or so remaining, and they came back. It was some Case Keenum magic.
Nice.
But the Chargers in Denver, they need to cover a 4-point spread, and I think they do that. In a game this important, I believe they can cover it, and I believe Vance Joseph will be fired immediately after the game, if not sooner, because he has done nothing but hurt that team. They need to bring in a Mike Tomlin if he gets fired. That would be something. But whatever. That's another topic for another day, as is lots of tangents when it comes to the NFL.
We could have a whole episode of the tangents.
We could. We could just be writing them down and just have just shouting matches in this cozy little room. Okay, so we have the 6-seeded Colts. This is if I were to pick one game, it would be the Colts Titans game. If as college football fans out there, you should watch this game. It'll have everything. It'll have offensive throws. It'll have defensive highlights. It'll be a game to watch. You'll have Derrick Henry, big college football superstar there, just running people over. It'll be a good game. And the most important part is the scoop that both teams are 9-6, and they're both in the same division. And the winner will make the playoffs, and the loser goes home. Simple as that.
Brief interjection here. I'm a big Colts fan.
Big Colts fan.
Got a lot of family down in Indy.
Really?
Shout out to them. But,
Up in Indy, right?
I'm really what?
It's up in Indy. Indy's north of here.
Yeah.
That's pretty embarrassing. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, I'm rooting for the Colts here. Been watching them this year. They had some good games. I mean, they beat the Texans when they were on that 9-game winning streak. But last week they only beat the Giants by 1 point.
That's not ideal.
Comeback win. It was scared me. It scared me a lot. And they lost the Jaguars a couple weeks ago by 10-0. I think was it 10-3? Was it 10-3?
It was. No, I think it was. I want to say it was 6-0.
6-0.
That's
yeah,
equally
right.
not
It
ideal.
was. Yeah.
But then they shut out the Cowboys next week, and I don't know what's gonna happen here. I mean, they beat Tennessee back in I think week 9, but they're a team that they can win good games, but they can also lose just as easy.
Yeah, they're not consistent.
I think that's the thing in the NFL. It's that any given Sunday material. That's one of the things I love about the NFL is any day a bad team can stun a good team. And that's why I love making these predictions about the spreads and the over-unders, but nothing's set in stone when it comes to this. Like Alabama can never lose to a Citadel, and like that will never happen. Although I know that's how I know about it is because the 10-10 tie
Exactly.
in the Citadel game.
And I would like to big shout out to the Golden Hurricane. You're talking about great teams never get upset by not so great teams. 2010 on October 28th, the University of Tulsa, the Golden Hurricane, beat Notre Dame 28-27. So I would like that to be recorded for the record here in terms of this conversation. Rain Kane, someone else start talking.
Speaking of Tulsa, fight song of the day last week was University of Tulsa. We're gonna have one this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
guess that down in the comments.
Fun fact about Tulsa: of all the FBS teams, their mascot weighs the most because
Captain Hurricane.
Yes, because a hurricane made entirely of gold would weigh 1.08 billion pounds, which is heavier than anything else.
I thought you meant their actual mascot dress up.
Like the man inside the suit.
Yeah, he's just a superhero.
I'm not gonna be cruel for that guy.
Yeah, that was really mean.
What's a mascot name? It's
Captain Hurricane.
No, like the name of the dude in the suit. Like what's a
mascot-y? No, it's just the. Oh man, that's a real question.
What's the kind of name?
You know what? Comment
Scotty, like a doughy.
Yeah.
What's
okay.
back
Yeah,
here?
you know what, guys? Comment that down below after you smash the like button.
If you smash that like button,
we'll respond to the best ones. Anyway, we're way down
this
a rabbit hole here.
That's my bad. Hurricane.
Colts game pick.
Oh yeah. So
point.
I think the spread is they're giving the Titans 3.5 points. So I don't think it's a tight one. I don't think Indy will win by a touchdown, which would be the next one up. And I think that the Colts could win by a field goal. And
I agree.
That's my prediction. Is it's going to be tight. It's going to be a game that you should watch.
Definitely.
And it's Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
So you can watch it on
Sunday
NBC.
Night
I love that. See the
that's
Carrie
right.
Underwood
They got
song.
flexed.
Yeah.
They were originally a 3:15 game, and they go 3:05.
Ooh,
And then they got flexed.
big man.
Another thing, Browns got flexed. It's the third time they've gotten flexed in the last 2 years. Oh, getting flexed, by the way, I feel like I should explain this.
I think we know.
So, do you?
Just context clues. I figured out. You move from a 12 to a 325 or a 325 to a 7.
If you don't know, I apologize because I'm not allowed to explain.
Oh, no. go
But
ahead.
no, it's okay. It's okay. We have knowledgeable fans at the Preston and Mike Show.
Hopefully.
So, anywho, the Browns got flexed 3 times this season, and the last 2 seasons, the Browns got flexed 0 times.
Ooh,
Every
moving
single
up.
game was either a noon game or it was in London. It was, yeah.
Ow.
But yes, the Browns got flexed to 305, and the Titans Colts got flexed to 720, I believe.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
that is what you should watch.
Actually, the Browns are playing at 325. So if you don't want to miss 20 minutes of the game,
Please
you
don't
should start watching.
The first quarter.
Actually, no, you would just start watching early.
No, actually do that.
Yeah.
Get your tailgate on.
Yeah, why not? Start watching at 305. Watch the pregame show.
Within the boundaries of the law. Get your tailgate on.
Absolutely.
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 We're safe here.
Yep.
We're always safe here. So we got one more game in the AFC. We have the Steelers who are playing the Bengals in Pittsburgh. That we know how that's gonna end. Number one, because Hugh Jackson is on the staff of the Cincinnati Bengals, and that when Hugh Jackson has anything to do with your team, you will lose. As someone who watched 16 games in 2016 with RG3 as the quarterback and other backups that I don't want to name, they went 1-15. And they only went 1-15 because Josh Lambo missed 2 field goals in the last 4 minutes of the game. If it weren't for that, they would have gone 0-32 in 2 seasons in a row. And I watched all of that, and I saw Hugh Jackson sit on the sidelines, looking like a dope, pretending like he knows what to do. There was one game, more tangents. It's gonna happen when you bring your NFL correspondent on.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Jackson wanted to throw a challenge flag, and it was cold out, so he was wearing a lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't find the challenge flag.
No.
This is a thing that happens. And he got another chance this year. He didn't give Baker Mayfield any first-string snaps. He wanted to earn his stripes, something that he created because he thinks to himself he has credibility when he does not. He has done nothing to earn that credibility. And I could go on for hours ranting about Hugh Jackson. It is cathartic for me, but I will stop now. And I'll go back to the fact that these Steelers will destroy Jeff Driscoll's led Bengals because all of their good players are hurt. Joe Mixon's fighting an ankle injury. There's a 16.5 point spread. If it were 26.5, I would consider it for the Pittsburgh Steelers because that's how much they're going to win by. 1, because they need to win,
Mm-hmm.
and 2, because it's been an interesting season for them all around. There's been a lot of alleged turmoil that's going on, and I think if there
was turmoil, I don't know if you can argue that.
There was turmoil, but it was blown out of proportion.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's the second tangent on the exact same thing. So I believe wholeheartedly that since this is the last real thing they can control this season, this game, I think they will kill them. So that rounds out the AFC picture, and we might not even go on to the AFC because I've put a lot of time into our AFC. So any thoughts about what do you think is going to go down in the AFC this year?
In the AFC?
In the AFC.
Oh, I'm with you.
Who do you think's going to take it and go to the Super Bowl from the AFC?
From the AFC?
Just as speculation. We might go more into this one.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
You're going to take the Chargers?
Yeah, I think I'm with Sowers on this one. Okay. I saw them come back 13 points, not 14, because what's his name? The kicker for the Steelers cannot make extra points. Yeah, Chris Boswell. He just can't make extra points. But they came. I watched that game. I was impressed. I'm impressed. I think Phillip Rivers is finally going to get his ring, and that's just going to make me happy.
Oh, yeah,
it makes me feel so good because he's been such a great quarterback in the league for such a long time, and he's just suffered with bad teams.
That makes sense.
So it'll be nice to see him get a ring, hopefully.
I hope it's either them or the Ravens, but deep down, I don't want to say this, but I think the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl.
No.
I think they will. I think they have the experience. They have the poise.
Tom Brady mouth kisses his son. He's never going to. Just pull up that video. When you think, the Patriots are going to win this game, watch Tom Brady mouth kiss his son. It's disgusting.
Not a whole mouth kiss son thing.
Yeah.
That's a little.
No, that's my basis for judging quarterbacks.
That's a little above my pay grade, but I do know is he throws a mean spiral. That ball he threw, I believe he threw a seam route to Chris Hogan. That before that pass, I thought his arm strength was dwindling, and it was just a rocket, man. It made me legitimately think he could play until he's 50, and he's a freak. That's what I have to say about that matter.
We really don't have time to do the Tom Brady argument because that would be hours.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
would be hours and
I think
hours.
we can save this for another episode.
Yeah, we can. I would love to have the Tom Brady debate. I raring to go next episode.
I could, but before we do the little send off here,
mm-hmm.
I think we could do NFC on a more tighter basis on another day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a. Yeah, I don't have nearly as much material prepared for the NFC, and I do think that it's a little more cut and dry than the AFC is. So that's why I focused. We can focus that and feel like
the AFC is more interesting.
It is.
It always
is.
Yeah.
It's like the AL in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even gonna try.
That would.
We'll save that for April.
Yeah, really will. Hey, you could be a baseball correspondent too.
I can do all of the correspondence.
Wonderful. Mark's our official correspondent. And with that, I think we're gonna take off for the day. That was a very fun, very tangential episode with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next Friday.
Just a reminder, check out our YouTube channel as well.
Oh, yes.
Also listening to SoundCloud.
And don't forget to follow on Instagram at the Preston and Mike Show, at the Preston and Mike Show. Please follow and shout us out if you're feeling it, if you like this episode.
Tell a friend.
And maybe you can be the next special guest.
Yeah, special guest star. All right, guys. We love you. Talk to you next Friday.
Go Browns.